Hey guys, this is Rich Boy J here, back again with another video, and this one is going to look at the final finished version of my minifig scale Millennium Falcon. Now let's go through the details in this thing. It's over 11,000 pieces. I'm sure it's every bit of 20 pounds, probably even more heavy. It has a full interior, it has a light-up hyperdrive, replaceable satellite dishes, a few plate features, and much, much more. Now this model was designed, the exterior I should say, was designed by a builder named Marshal Banana. And if you haven't seen his videos, check them out. He's a brilliant builder. Every single thing he designs is just amazing. I thought his exterior design was good enough. Didn't want to have to reinvent the wheel. So I went with it and I integrated it into my Falcon. So without further ado guys, I'm going to take you through all the features on this thing, and this one's probably going to be a long one because there's a lot to show you. So if we look around on this side, you'll see that there's a little gear, and if you twist this gear, it'll actually let down the boarding ramp. So if you twist it, it'll let it down. Twist it the other way, a little back up. Boom, you got yourself a mechanical boarding ramp. Now this feature was actually inspired by the first Falcon that I owned. It was, I think, set number 4504, and in that one, if you actually pulled the entire side section out, the boarding ramp would come down. So I thought it'd be really cool to kind of recapture that and have a mechanical boarding ramp. So now let's take you guys back around to the rear, and this is probably my favorite part of the model because this is where a lot of the greebles are, a lot of the details are, and Marshall just did a bang-up job with this. And you can see there, the hyperdrive is glowing. So if you turn that off, it's a little bit easier to see. I just used the Lego Power Functions lights. I could probably use some new lights because a lot of mine are very dim. It should actually be much brighter than this. But you get the gist of it. It's very cool. You have a functioning hyperdrive, which is honestly a lot more than we can say for the movie Millennium Falcon. That thing had some problems. So now let's take you back around to the other side. And excuse me while I do this. This thing is so big, it's very hard to maneuver around, but I'm going to try to do this with the camera in one hand. So back around on this side, there's just more greebles. I think the ship is really characterized by the greebles, by all the details in it. Marshall did an excellent job capturing all of that. And now, let's bring you back around to the front. Get some shots of this side. Alright, that's pretty much going to finish up the top exterior overview. Now let's start opening this thing up so you guys can see the interior. Alright, so all of these panels just sit in place, and let's start removing them. This is quite the process. Whenever I go to a convention, I always have to make a determination, okay, how am I going to display this thing? Because the outside looks great, but a lot of people do want to see the inside. I usually just end up devoting half the time to having it open, half the time to having it closed. Because I can't be doing this all day. And finally, cockpit cover comes off. And then this middle section comes out of here, and this is going to be important because later on I'm going to show you how the insert goes through the middle, where you can actually put this entire model on a stand. But this actually comes out. This is the gunner section where Finn was sitting when he was shooting the TIE fighters, also where Luke and Han were sitting when they were defending the TIE fighters once they made it off of the Death Star. So yeah, here it is, and let's give you guys a closer look at the inside. Now we're going to start from the most famous room on the Millennium Falcon. So this is obviously the main room with the couch, and Luke is currently training to become a Jedi with old Ben. Han's over there putting some disrespect on the Jedi religion. This is easily my favorite room of the Falcon. It's just all the important things that happen on the Falcon happen in this room. So it's so cool to just have it be able to be recreated here. I'm going to take you guys around both sides of this thing in opposite orientation so we can get at least most of the angles. Here we got Han and Chewie. They're just happy to be home. And then that's the corridor where the boarding ramp is over there. Now this is a little computer console room. In order to get a lot of the reference material, I looked at the cross sections of the Millennium Falcon. Looked at a lot of reference material, a lot of studio models, a lot of screenshots from the movies to get this thing as close as possible to the real deal. And if we come back here, this is the hyperdrive room. Now this, I just recreated the scene where C-3PO thinks he's melting. He's all tangled up in the wires. R2's going to go ahead and extinguish the fires there. I'm a big fan of this room too. It's the back area of the hyperdrive room. It's all very cool. Lots of pipes and wires hanging about. If we come look over here, we got Han spitting some game. Doesn't look like Leia's trying to hear it though. Her hands are probably dirty or something. That's that back part of that room. Looks like they just keep a lot of cargo, stuff like that over there. And if we come back out of that room over to this side, this is the room where Luke gets injured and he, I guess, takes a nap. I don't know, tries to recover after they pick him up from Cloud City. Interesting thing about this room is that right here, on all the original reference material, like the cross sections from the original trilogy, there was supposed to be a third bed right here. So as of now, there's 2 beds, and then there's the kitchen. But in the new reference material from like The Force Awakens, there's a kitchen and a bathroom right here. So I decided to have the most updated version of the Falcon, so I went ahead and threw in the bathroom. It seems pretty necessary. Why would there not be a bathroom? So now if we come out of there, come back over to this main hallway. And then that would take you back to the main room. I'm going to turn this thing around. We're going to go back through it one more time so you guys can see everything from the other side. I guess while I'm over here, I'll show you how this insert works for the middle. So this is the main middle area. It can come in and out. While it's in there, it's supposed to be the ladder that takes you up to either gunner position at the top or the bottom. And also while we're over here, I'll show you guys the hallway to the cockpit. So it's a long hallway, takes you over here. We have 4 seats, which is accurate to the Falcon. Got some controls. All that good stuff. So back over this way again. There's a little computer panel over there. There's that control room that I was showing you guys earlier. This is the other side of the hyperdrive room. Then of course back over to the room where Luke is laying down. Close the bathroom up. Got some blue milk and a cup sitting on the table over there. There's the other bed. the stool. Then back through this hallway. Did some weathering on the wall in that corner over there. Some greebles on the wall as well. Then that takes you back over here to that main room. There's also another bed over there in that corner. That's actually where Chewie lays whenever he gets injured in The Force Awakens. It's also where he tried to kill Finn 6 times. I think it's fine though. Then got some greebles in the wall panel. Then back down to the corridor. And that is how you'd exit the Falcon. So yeah, that's pretty much going to finish up the exterior of the Falcon. This thing is about as close as I could possibly get it to fit with the actual studio models and the cross sections. And it actually has pretty much every single room. The only rooms that aren't included would be up here towards the front. There's supposed to be a really big cargo room, and it would actually kind of stretch out into this section. Obviously, I can't work with that area because there is some Technic beams for those front mandibles. And then there's also, the cargo room kind of extends over into this area. I guess at some point I could go in and make this a room. It would be inaccessible to any of like the minifigures. Like there's no door that I'd be able to add to it because it's so cramped in. But now that I know that I can work with the space, at some point I'm sure I'll go in and put something there. I have the room, may as well use it. And then here's another view of the cockpit. So yeah, guys, I'm trying to get a lot of close-ups. Just because, I mean, it really makes you feel like you're in the Falcon. You can get at least close to eye level with the minifigs. And this is such a vast interior. I love those really close-up shots. There's a better shot of Han at his computer chair. And if I can maybe get one that looks down into where the gunner positions are. I went ahead and cleared out the minifigure so you guys can check out this little maintenance hatch in the floor right here. Now this is where Finn, Rey, and BB-8 would be hiding once their Falcon gets abducted by Han and his freighter. That's where they all chill. I guess I shouldn't say they were chilling. They were probably doing the opposite of chilling. But yeah, they're all in there. And it actually is possible to stand up a minifigure in there. So if you wanted, you could recreate the scene where Rey is working on the Falcon while BB-8 and Finn are arguing about whether or not they're going to tell Rey that Finn is not in the Resistance. And then there's also another smuggling hatch over here. This is in the movie where Luke and crew would have been hiding from the Empire once they do their boarding party. I'm trying to get this thing to focus. There we go. So it's actually pretty easy to get to if you just press down on that. Open that up. Oh. I knew Han had some bad habits, but yeesh. I don't think you guys were supposed to see that. Alright, moving along. Alright, you guys have seen the outside, you've seen the inside. Now I'm going to show you how this thing goes on its stand. Alright, now let's show you guys how the stand goes on this thing. What you do initially is you take this middle part out, like I showed you earlier. So that comes out. This brace goes in it. It's just a pretty simple build with a square cut out of the middle. Slide that down. It goes all the way through to the bottom. Then you got to move the Falcon out of the way so you can position the stand where it should go. So let's leave it right there. Now here comes the semi-hard part. I mean, lifting this thing is not fun at all. And what you got to do is slide that peg that's on the stand straight through the middle. And make sure you got it pushed down all the way. And there it is on the stand. Now let's put all these panels back on it. A lot of people would have a heart attack doing this. I did initially. It was very scary, but I realized the stand's very sturdy. Got a lot of technique going through it, and it works out pretty well. And this is the second half of that block. That sits in there because that's what this section right here has to sit on. So you just slide that on there. Actually, I did this wrong. These parts actually got to come off because this middle part has to go on first. I don't think I'll ever actually get this thing right the first time. I make this mistake all the time. So this slides over the middle, and then these come back on the sides. Clicks in over there. That panel just sits in there. This one sits right there. After finally building the stand, because I didn't really have the stand built until a little while after I had the ship built, but now that I have it, I don't know how I ever didn't have it built. This thing just adds so much to the build. It's a huge Falcon, so being able to have it displayed on a stand like this is just... it's amazing. I'm honestly shocked that this even works. Because this model is so big and so heavy. 11,000 pieces. Imagine that. Let's get it turned around for you guys. And then while it's up on the stand, I'll show you guys the bottom of it. Bottom is very detailed. Just as detailed as the top, actually. And I made it to where those feet can actually slide off of it. So when you have it in flight position like this, you could just remove the feet. And you're good to go. Alright guys, that's pretty much going to finish up this video. I'm glad that I was able to finish up this model and do everything with it that I want it to do. This is probably the most special MOC that I've ever made just because it's of such an iconic ship. And it's very comprehensive. It pretty much gives you anything you would want out of a Millennium Falcon with the interior, the fact that you can put it on a stand, the light up hyperdrive. All those features just contribute to a pretty badass model. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what I do, go ahead, hit the like button to support the video, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, and finally, if you'd like to build one of these for yourself, I am selling the instructions for these for $40 US, so if you're interested, shoot me an email to my email. It's wakeupufm@gmail.com. All these details will be in the description, so if you want to build one of these bad boys for yourself, I got you covered.